Most people struggle to study after school and college. And this is a problem that almost every teenager who goes to school and college have. And I have struggled with this thing a lot, like more than everybody else. I would come back from school, I would pick up my phone and start scrolling. I would say every single day while sitting in the school that when I'll come back from school today, I'll study a lot. I'll study for 3 4 hours and complete all the syllabus. And after coming back from school, I would just end up scrolling. Or sometimes, even worse, I would just sit down and watch, at the time of studying, I would watch a YouTube video on how to study when there was a time to study. Because this is something that we struggle with. There's a reason behind it, that when we come back from school or college, we are just so tired because of the tiredness of school or college, and we are just so tired to work. And I've followed these 4 steps that have helped me study after school or college, and not just study, do the deep work, because I don't really have so much time to study. I just put in a deep work instead of putting in shallow work. 1 hour of deep work is equal to almost equal to 3 hours of shallow work. The work that most people do out there is shallow work, and if you learn how to do deep work, you will get ahead of all those people. So the first technique is actually study in the morning, because most people have their genius hours in the morning, like I have. I am the most productive in the morning, and I usually study in the morning for 1 to 2 hours straight up. And I just wake up a little early, and then I would study for an hour or maybe 2 hours, depend on the task that I have, and then I'm good to go with school and college. That's the best technique that you can use. The second thing that you can do is, whenever you come back from school or college, just don't get that dopamine, because if you need the dopamine baseline of 80 to study, and the dopamine that you are getting after scrolling reels in 140, and when you get to that 140 dopamine after scrolling reels, you won't be able to study, because you have high dopamine to study, and you won't be able to study. Instead of scrolling reels after coming back from school or college, I would suggest you to take a little rest, which take us to point 3. What I actually do is just take nap. Whenever I come back from school or college, I just take a little nap. That just make me more fresh and ready to study, which make me ready to do the deep work. These are just 2 3 techniques that I use, and they have helped me a lot. There's a quote by Alex Modi which says that a focused fool is better than a genius who is distracted. So what I want you to do is stay focused, study less, but stay focused while you are studying. So these were some tips that I had for you. I hope you learned something new from this video. If so, subscribe the channel, and I'll meet you in another video.